Hello and welcome. I am Adam. This is Open Late. Tonight, we will be opening this nondescript brown cardboard box, which is, of course, the G.I. Joe classified Sergeant Slaughter. Now, if you've tuned in before, you will probably know that Sergeant Slaughter is not one of my favorite characters in G.I. Joe. But this figure is a lot of fun, and it was definitely one that I had to have in my collection. He's definitely a figure that you got to have in your collection, even if you're not the biggest Sergeant Slaughter fan. No disrespect to Sergeant Slaughter, don't get me wrong. I'm sure he's a great guy. I didn't like him in the cartoon, and as an extension, he was never one of my favorite Joes. But first off, let's look at the package. This is a really great package. This was done by Adam Riches, who is a massive Sergeant Slaughter fan. So it was really cool that he got the opportunity to put this thing together. So we got all the different sort of versions of Sergeant Slaughter. So we got sort of a wrestling version, the action figure version. Now the action figure version is of course holding a tiny action figure version. The sort of art for Sergeant Slaughter, we got a comic book version, we got a Sunbow accurate cartoon version as well. Then we get the artwork, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's matte and gloss on the package, which for these windowless, I'm showing you by way of reflection of the light where it's glossy and where it's flat. And that's one thing that they're doing with the plastic free packaging that they weren't doing with the old packaging. So I think that's kind of cool. I think they've stepped it up. This plastic free packaging is more expensive, so it's not like it's cost savings. But I hear the people that sort of complain about figure swaps and so on and so forth, yada yada yada. My stuff I order online, it gets shipped to me. I never get to pick the best paint apps anyway, so I'm not really that fussed one way or the other. But anyway, that's the package. Let's get this guy out of the box. Now I pre-cut the tape just to save myself the 8 seconds that it would take to do that. Inside, of course, we have, as we've seen in just about every plastic free packaging figure has been like this. We get the figure as well as the foot locker. So we get the figure in the cardboard there, as well as the foot locker. Now this is of course number 53, Sergeant Slaughter. I forgot to, as I often do, go over what he's good at. He's good at collecting Dragon Balls, punching people, lifting weights, and getting email error messages. I think. Maybe that's not accurate. Maybe none of those are accurate. Maybe they are. Wouldn't that be funny? Anyway, as I always do, I'm going to start with the accessories, which, as I mentioned, come in this foot locker. I haven't really, I sort of put these foot lockers back into the boxes after I've emptied out the accessories. I haven't really been using them for anything. I like that they're, taking the effort to print them up and, make them look cool. But if I'm being perfectly honest, if the figures cost $2 more or $2 less and these came in a plastic bag, I wouldn't be upset. Like if all the accessories came in a bag like this, I wouldn't be fussed if it could save a couple dollars. Again, these sort of waxy paper. I like these. I like that it's sort of a printed bag, and it's not just after I just said I don't care what they do. It's a nice touch, I think, that they even print the bags. That's all I'm saying. Do they need to do it? No. Would I be bothered if they didn't? No. Then we got a few of these sort of cardboard little cutout container boxes, which is always fun to sort of see. This is like this is the equivalent of like blind bags, right? My kids love blind bags, and this is sort of the closest thing I'll probably ever get to something like that. And once I get these accessories open and the figure out, I will check in with the comments. I can see you guys commenting, hopefully in real time. The other day, we had a little bit of a hiccup. Wasn't getting real-time comments, but it seems to be working right now, at the very least. But as I said, I will quickly get the accessories and the figure free from the packaging, and then I'll say hello. Very quickly, I'll say shout out to Master Versal Toy Hunter. I know that Eldor, you just got your Sergeant Slaughter ordered, and I know that you've got it on the way. You're gonna have your review up on your channel soon, I'm sure. You paid a ridiculous amount for yours, which is bonkers. I could not imagine. I mean, I'm in Canada, and you know, we complain about certain aspects of collecting. I don't think I could handle being in, you know, Europe or Eternia or wherever. US has it good, and when people in the US complain about availability or pricing or yada yada yada, it kind of falls on deaf ears as far as I'm concerned, because they get it cheaper than anyone, unless we're talking about certain imports. But even then, a lot of the imports, you know, just as an example, P Bandai, we can't get P Bandai in Canada. You know, it's so close, but so far away. But if we could, the prices would be pretty decent. Anyway, enough about that. Figure is out. Let's see if I can get him to stand up. A little bit stiff. I don't want to force it too much, but I do want to get him in a decent standing pose. One of his hips dropped down. Yeah, he's okay. He's not going to be. All right. I think if he's going to be stand here posing, I think I got to do the sunglasses and the hat, right? You can't just stand here without this stuff on. And I mean, right off, looks pretty good. Okay, the whistle too. So for a figure that I didn't even care if I got, he looks pretty good. All right, let's quickly check in with the comments. I will tighten up this camera angle first. Hopefully, maybe. Work with me here, camera angle. Yeah, that's not bad. That's manageable. I think that's manageable. All right, what's going on in the comments? I got to go all the way back. Master Versal was the first one here. Said, "Good evening, there, sir. He's got a Sergeant Slaughter on the way, and we're doing a review on his channel, as I said." Sam Rock is hanging out. What's going on, Sam? Thanos Copter is in the house as well. Ostradamus Toys, what's going on, Oz? Let's see. What else are people talking about? Oz says, been a busy couple of days, but glad to be here again with all of you. How about those Jeffries? Absolutely. If you're not familiar with Toy Anxiety and the Yes Have Some podcast crew, they did the Jeffries last night, which is their version of the sort of, you know, toy awards for the year. It was very entertaining and a lot of fun. Definitely worth checking out in a replay if you didn't see it live. Well, technically nobody saw it live because it was pre-recorded, but And yeah, Master Versa says he's had Sergeant Slaughter for a few days, just waiting to get the review done. Yeah, and Thanos Copter says those skits had me rolling. Yeah, absolutely. There's some good ones. Like I said, if you haven't watched it, definitely check it out in the replay. All right. I think I can get it better. I'm just not satisfied with the... I gotta upgrade this mount. Anyway, there we go. That'll do. That'll be fine. Whatever. I'm over it. I'm done. No, I'm not. Normally I do like multiple figures, and so I need a wider shot. But with one figure, he just seems lonely in the shot. Anyway, moving on, let's take a look at the accessories. First of all, we have the hands. Let's take a look at those. He comes with the fists on the figure. We get two sort of grappling hands. Whoop. We, of course, get two gripping hands. Now, these are sort of designed, I think, with they're more of a pistol grip than anything. But it's, they're not a super obvious pistol grip. Like the finger's not completely disconnected like it often is in a lot of other hands. So that's definitely a new design, new sculpt, which I'm into. And then he comes with his finger pointing hands. And he comes with two, so he can do a little dance, I suppose. Maybe not. Whatever. I guess that's not really a Sergeant Slaughter type of thing. Then, of course, we get the weapon, which everybody's sort of referring to as an AK. I guess, but it is kind of like a, it's not 100% accurate. It's definitely sort of GI Joe-ified, and it comes with the little sight or scope or whatever the heck this futuristic design thing is. That just plugs right in, and if you're lucky, oh, this one worked. I had a couple of the officer ones, they didn't plug in very well. They were really crooked and really awkward, and they didn't sit properly. I had to heat them up, and then I had to shave one down. But that one looks good. That one went in well. This gun is surprisingly straight as well, which I'm really happy about. It means I don't have to reheat it and reshape it. Then, of course, we get the little clip, which is going to plug right into the bottom, or it better. So there it is, fully loaded up, fully kitted up. I guess it's very AK reminiscent, but that being said, like, who cares? It's a cool looking gun. I'm not whining about the look of that thing in relation to this figure. It's a good looking figure. So no complaints. Then, of course, he gets his baton, which I think is a great addition. In the vintage, everybody lost the baton. I don't think I know, anybody that had their original one. They had to like buy one on the aftermarket. Although I guess somebody had their original one because they were able to sell them on the aftermarket. Then we get this absolute gem of an accessory. This, of course, is a teeny tiny mint on card action figure of Sergeant Slaughter, which is such a fun accessory. And I actually bought two of these because I didn't realize at the time that these were going to be like collector friendly. So he actually pops right out. You get the card back. I'm a bit disappointed that this is just printed like this and that it doesn't have a file card or something. I feel like that's a bit of a missed opportunity. They didn't have to print, a proper file card, but just sort of make it look a little bit more like the vintage one. But he comes out, so it's in, a little bubble with a little plastic insert. You can absolutely take that out. And now that I know that I can take it out and put it back in, I probably didn't need to for this reason, but I am using a lot of the figure. for a custom that I've sort of had planned in the back of my mind for about 2 years and just have not gotten around to getting it finished. But stay tuned for that. The figure itself is pretty nice. It is, of course, I think almost entirely the Roadblock figure, and I coulda, woulda, shoulda had these at hand to look at them, but let me see if I can grab him quickly. Just for comparison, so you can sort of see what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to grab Duke as well as a size comparison, since I'm at the shelf. Then I'm going to grab one more for a comparison, because I feel like it's an obvious one. All right, now let's get this comparison party started. So very much reuse of the Roadblock figure, same torso, appears to be the same arms, different hands, different legs, actually, believe it or not. I thought they were the same legs, but they are not. They are new. And I think those boots might be new as well. But then for height comparison, I mean, they're just about the same size, almost exactly the same size. In fact, now I'm curious if those legs have been used before. And I don't think they have. I think they're new legs. And then as a second size comparison to more of a standard size Joe, there's Duke. So Slaughter is definitely taller. Not by a ton, but by enough that he definitely has that imposing physical physique, and definitely appears larger and more in charge, as he should. However, when he goes against his sort of main foe, Serpentor is still a little bit bigger than Sergeant Slaughter is, and that's with his legs a little bit wider apart. If I kind of stand him up a little bit more, you'll see, he is Slaughter comes up to about his nose, but that's definitely going to be a pretty epic battle between those two guys. Yeah, very nice figure. There's not much to him. I mean, it's pretty basic. Joints are really tight, so I'm not going to be posing them up too much. Butterflies, nice and tight. His elbow is really tight. Like, I can't bend it, and I don't want to until I heat it up. I heat all my figures up for that reason. But it's hard to get like a really good. It's hard to get them in just a neutral pose when they're sort of frozen still. But yeah, really good looking figure. The pants look great. The deco is great. I like the green and brown. The tank top looks, very accurate, very appropriate for the figure. I was really impressed with the Roadblock body as far as a figure, and this one doesn't disappoint either. I think it's well designed, well sculpted, and just altogether a pretty great figure. That's really all I've got tonight. The reason I'm doing this one tonight, just a single figure, relatively quick hit, is I am expecting a package tomorrow, a mystery package, which I will be very likely unboxing. Part of the reason I didn't sort of announce this video until the last minute is because I thought that package might show up today. It did not, so stay tuned for that. I will be doing another unboxing tomorrow. Even if that package doesn't show up, I'll unbox something else. But stay tuned. As I said, mystery package. I'm not even 100% certain what's in the box, but I do know where it came from and a few of the things, and I'm very, very excited to share them with you guys. Paints Toy Sample says, just stopping in to say, hey, I got to get some sleep. Man, sleep is important. Definitely. I can understand. I can appreciate that. Oz says this Sergeant Slaughter is incredible. Some seem to like the Valverse version more. Have you had a chance to check that one out? Yes, and I meant to have that one on hand, and I didn't. Hold on one second. Easier said than done. Yeah, bear with me. I will. I'll definitely grab it. Check it out. Um, it's in the bottom of the stack of other stuff. Nearly there. Hold on. All right. Just a very quick comparison, and I'm just going to kind of do a size comparison more than anything. I can just figure out the front versus the back. Is there a front and a back to this hat? I don't think so. Seems to fit a little bit better one way rather than the other. This is the Action Force Valaverse Sergeant Slaughter. He's considerably smaller. He's considerably thinner. You know, their builds aren't the same at all. It's a different version. You know, I've heard, you know, people like he's older, you know, he's sort of more his current age rather than, you know, the age that he was in the cartoon or as the action figure or whatever. So, you know, take your pick. For me, definitely the classified version is the one that's going to be the one that's going to be on my shelf. I got that Valaverse one as a little bit of a placeholder while sort of waiting for this guy because I knew that this was going to be the one for my collection. But yeah. Thanos Copter. I don't think I've seen the Valverse one. This one looks good though. They're both good in their own way. I think this one is sort of truer to the caricature of Sergeant Slaughter. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a Sergeant Slaughter fan as such, so I don't know, you know, if how tall he was or like what his weight was. Like I don't know his wrestling stats or anything like that. But I always thought of him, at least as sort of the cartoon version, as being like a bigger dude. Um, Again, I'll just quickly bring Duke back on. So Duke, in comparison to Sergeant Slaughter, is like the same size. It might not look it because of the camera angle or whatever, but they're virtually the same size. And to me, that just doesn't work for a GI Joe shelf. Now, the Action Force Valaverse Sergeant Slaughter in the Action Force Valaverse universe, it kind of makes more sense. But that's not the universe. That's not the sandbox I'm playing in. I'm definitely playing in the GI Joe sandbox. So let's see. Massive Versal says yes, indeed. Still waiting on my Serpentor from Australia. So you're gonna have those. You're gonna have both of them, you know, in hand soon, and they're both fantastic figures. Ironically, both characters that I just don't. neither character was ever sort of my favorite. Serpentor, you know, as a kid, I kind of thought he was cool, but you know, now I just it doesn't. It's too. I don't know. It's too like juvenile. It's too I don't know. I don't know. I get it. I mean, there's people that absolutely love Serpentor. And I understand why. But I may as well bring these guys back in because they're all man, Sarge just looks so lonely in the shot. I absolutely get why people love this character, and I certainly understand why they love the figure. The figure is fantastic. It is stunning. The texture, the detail, everything about it is pretty awesome. Um, it still somehow doesn't fit. You know what I mean? Like the military line aesthetic that we've got with GI Joe. Serpentor just looks out of place. Like he looks like a sci-fi character, which in some respects he is, right? In some respects he's very much a sci-fi character. When you sort of get into the Cobra Law and stuff like that, the fact that he's the combined DNA of a whole bunch of different historical figures and stuff like that makes it a little bit far-fetched for me. It's a little bit odd. It's there's just something there that doesn't quite land for me, but it's cool. I mean, like I said, it's a great figure. The air chariot looks fantastic. Thanos Copter says the only slaughter I have is the WW Eternia one. I like classified from afar though. The classified one, I can assure you up close, it looks really, really good as well. Definitely a good figure. Definitely one I would recommend. And that's like, I mean, I'll recommend Serpentor as well. Easier said than done. If you don't have him now, hopefully they'll release him again at some point. But you know, if you had the opportunity to get him, I hope you did because it was well worth it. And a lot of people sort of jeez, everybody's falling over. It's getting late. Everybody's falling over. People are tired. It's been a long day. But this slaughter is readily available, not too difficult to pick up. I would strongly recommend him as well because I genuinely think that whether you like Sergeant Slaughter or not, he is such an iconic character and an iconic figure, and he's really going to stand out. He's definitely going to be displayed with the pointing hands, um, pointing finger and baton in hand. He's probably never going to touch this gun, if I'm being perfectly honest. He's going to get the baton and the pointing finger, and that's how I'm going to display him. As soon as he gets his hot bath and I can get those joints loosened up, he will get posed up exactly as he is in his teeny tiny minifigure, pictured right here with the pointing finger and the baton under his arm. That's just such a classic pose. Or maybe with this tiny figure in his hand. I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely leaning towards baton and pointing finger, but we shall see. As I said, a very, very quick review today. Not even a review so much as an unboxing. Unless there's anything else that you guys want to chat about, I may sign off early, under a half hour. That's pretty quick. But yeah, like I said, any questions, any comments, anything you want to discuss, any news in the last couple days that I don't know about any news. I don't know about any big news. I guess the news that classified the Hasbro live stream didn't happen, but I mean I'm not that bothered one way or the other. We're gonna get the figures, the reveals, the announcements, all that kind of stuff just got bumped, which isn't the end of the world. If you're anything like most collectors and myself included, having a couple extra weeks before I got to pay for a few more pre-orders is not a bad thing. So I'm not, as I said, I'm not too upset. Anyway, that's Sergeant Slaughter in a nutshell, and a very, very brief look at this figure. As I said, great figure. Definitely would recommend checking him out, picking him up wherever you can. I got nothing. Thanks for sharing, though. Absolutely, as I always say, it is always more fun to open toys with friends. So I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out, whether live or in the replay. And I will talk to you again very, very soon. And by that I mean tomorrow. So I hope to see you guys all back tomorrow.